Democratic Representative Robert Garcia used yesterday's impeachment hearing to remind the world of what the Republican plan for border security looks like.
I want to remind the public that Donald Trump and House Republicans also have their own ideas for the border. So let's review the majority's border ideas that they've actually presented. Here they are. Donald Trump actually has said that he wants to build alligator moats along the border. That's one of his incredible ideas. Another idea that Donald Trump has promoted is he actually wants to electrify the border fence and maybe even put some spikes on the border. That's another Donald Trump and MAGA majority border idea. Another idea, which I'm not sure how well it would go, is he wants to actually bomb northern Mexico with missiles. That's another Trump idea. And finally, I think one of the ones that I think is the most grotesque is suggestions that instead we should maybe just shoot migrants in the legs as they cross the border. So once again, the Donald Trump and MAGA plan is alligator moats, bombing northern Mexico, shooting migrants in the legs, and electrifying the fence and putting spikes on them. That is the Donald Trump border plan. And so again, we are here today with these horrific ideas being presented constantly by the former president.
That sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a cartoon, like a bad joke, that you would have the big picture with the alligator on it. I mean, what is he talking about? How could this possibly be the case? But the joke is on us because all of that was widely reported at the time. That is what Trump was talking about as a solution to the border. And Donald Trump could well be in charge of border policy once again. So as the right tries to use what's going on at the border to score political points, to potentially improve their standing among the electorate during this election year, it's in pursuit of getting Donald Trump back into the office where he will once again, with his even more addled mind, be coming up with bangers of ideas like alligators and moats and electrified fences. And it is not lost on me that when the congressman reminds the country of all of that, that will rightly horrify reasonable people. And many independents will see that and think, oh yeah, that's what those years were like. But for the right, they like being reminded of that. They liked those ideas, those like Looney Tunes-esque ideas that would maim and kill migrants. They want those again. They're getting a small version of it with Greg Abbott, with the concertina wire and the floating barriers in the rivers that have razor wire on them as well. They like that idea, we're ripping people's flesh, we're causing them to bleed out. But it's not alligators and it's not electrified fences. How great would that be? How great would it be to just start opening fire on the migrants? So I'm sure, Sharon, that many of them are getting excited about the prospect of that once again being on offer.
Yeah, and I tried to think, where do they come up with this stuff? Who's dreaming up this plot? I think it did come, it could be Stephen Miller too, but I think this came from Trump looking over the shoulder of a 14-year-old video gamer who said, we could use that. I think it's actually that simple. And I know that Americans need to pay attention. After all, if you don't pay attention, life as you know it, that you're so busy being distracted by, could go away. It's really that simple. But there's so much nuttiness, and it kind of like bleeds reality and non-reality, fact versus fiction, that it's a lot to keep up with. And it needs this show and these visuals to see an actual alligator moat plan, a visual of that to say, oh, I guess it's not, this is real. Then you turn to your kids and say, now what video game is that? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's not one that combines all that together. It just has the shooting or the alligator moat. So I really think that this is where we're at. It's just as nutty as it gets. It kind of helps push us back and make us take a seat and say, it's just too much. I don't even pay attention to this.
Yeah, it sounds like a satirical movie.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a movie that's kind of hits you over the head. It's too obviously ridiculous, but it's real. We live through that. We could live through that again. And though, Representative Garcia is in the minority in the House, can't necessarily fight all of this off, at least he can remind us of what we went through and what we could soon be going through again.